I'm a student. I'm Anukriti Badola from the English Department of Phul Singh Bish Rajkiya Mahavidyalaya, Naughar Lamgaon, Tiri Gadhwal. I welcome you all to our online lecture series. Today in this lecture, we'll be discussing the essay of Studies by Francis Bacon. Talking about Francis Bacon, he was a 17th century English philosopher, statesman, and an essayist. He is popularly known for his essays. His essays are full of practical wisdom, utilitarian wisdom, and are written in a very lucid, very clear manner, and his style is aphoristic, highly aphoristic. If I talk about the aphoristic style, if I explain it in simpler terms, that means Bacon writes in a very concise manner. His sentences are concise. He writes short sentences and they contain general truth, the universal truth that applies to many situations. His writing is marked with lucidity, clarity, directness, and precision. Lucidity means the choice of words is very simple. No complex words, no jargons are used, and there is a clarity of thought. The thoughts are presented very directly and precisely. If you see, the length of most of his essays is not very long. They are very short, very precise, and on point. Now, today we'll be focusing on the essay of studies. In this essay, Bacon underscores the significance of studies in the human experience. Bacon commences the essay by enumerating three objectives of engaging in scholarly pursuits: for enjoyment, as adornment, and for practical competence. If I say it in the words of Bacon, Bacon says studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. Bacon describes the three main purposes of study, including studying for gaining delight, studies done for ornamenting one's life, and studying in order to improve one's ability. So the first utility is reading delights the reader. Reading in privateness and retiring is worthwhile since it provides immense pleasure. While you are contemplating, while you are relaxing and you are thinking about life and you read, it gives you immense pleasure. It serves as delight. Just for the sake of delight, you are reading. The second purpose is it adds ornament to discourse. While you are engaging in a discourse, in a conversation, it embellishes, it ornaments your vocabulary, your thoughts. In a written or spoken discussion, studies help a well read person to exhibit his knowledge more efficiently than an average person does. The third utility is that studies also improve the judgment ability of a reader and the arrangement of things. So, judgment ability of a reader is improved through studies. A person, a normal person, can carry out the daily his or her daily affairs without difficulty, but a learned person, a person who has studied enough, will do it more efficiently. However, Bacon cautions against excessive study as it can signify indolence, and he advises against using excessive embellishments in conversation as it may appear affectation. So, though he tells the merits of studies and three major uses of studies, he also tells the demerits of overusing studies in any case, any of these cases. He says that if you spend a lot of time in while relaxing, reading, reading just for delight, it will make you a slave. If you use it excessively for ornamenting your discourse, it will make you look affectation. It will make your conversation, your discourse very much formed. And if you rely, while disposing of the day to day judgments or uh, giving some arguments, if you rely solely on studies, it will make you look like a fool and not like a scholar. So, to better your judgment, you have to accompany your studies by your experience. This further he'll elaborate in this essay. Bacon will elaborate. Studying makes a person better, just like trimming helps plants grow. Learning gives us direction and experience. So, studies, they make our natural abilities better. Natural abilities, they are just like natural plants. Natural plants, they grow everywhere, anywhere they grow. And to look better, to grow better, they need trimming, they need pruning. So, similarly, our natural abilities, they are bettered by studies. And studies themselves, which thing betters the studies? Our experience betters studies. Our experience makes studies better. Learning gives us direction and experience. Rather than just relying on studies, we have to rely on experience plus studies. Some people don't like studying, but wise people use it. Learning teaches us to observe and understand. We shouldn't use what we learn to argue or disagree with others. Also, we shouldn't just believe or talk about things without thinking. Bacon says we shouldn't be using our knowledge or our studies just for contradicting others or confuting others, or we shouldn't be blindly believing whatever we study. Rather, we should study to weigh and compare. Instead, its true purpose lies in the thoughtful and deliberate contemplation of ideas and concepts. That is, the real purpose of learning is to carefully think about and consider what we know. What we get to know through studies, we should be carefully thinking and considering those facts. It is a very popular line from the essay by Bacon. Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. So this means that there are different ways to read. So just like some books are just like snacks, we just taste them, we just use them to cater to our taste buds. Others are like our proper meals, which we take, which we have just to satiate hunger, just to fulfill our daily bodily needs. They have to be chewed and digested. Other books are just like medicines or some basic nutrients which we need to make our health better. For some books, they should be read in parts. They should just be tasted. Others to be swallowed. Others are like we should be reading them, but not very curiously. We have to read them like wholly, but not very curiously. And some few to be chewed and digested. And some books are there which we need to read them thoroughly and absorb whatever knowledge we get through them and apply that knowledge in our daily life. So some books you only read bits and pieces of, some you read without being too curious, and some you read carefully and thoroughly. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. This is a this is another aphorism from this essay. Reading makes a person well rounded, while conferencing or engaging in some conversation makes them sharp and clever. That is a witty person. And writing helps them memorize the facts. If someone writes very little, they won't remember things well. If they talk very little, they won't be quick and clever. And if they read very little, they won't know much. So Bacon puts it forward in the way that if a person writes very little, then that person must be having a false impression that he remembers everything very well. If he engages very less in some conference or in some discourse, then that person must have that false impression of being witty enough. And if that person reads very less, then that person must be having that impression that he is already very much learned and he doesn't know, doesn't want, doesn't require to know more than that, which he is actually not, which is not, uh, though he is actually not that much learned and informed. Then Bacon goes on to tell the utility of various disciplines. Learning about history makes a person wise. means when you already know about the facts, what happened in the history, what our ancestors faced, and how they acted in such and such situation, what were the consequences of those actions, then obviously in the present we'll be acting in a wise manner. We'll be getting wiser and acting in a more efficient way. And studying poetry makes them witty. If a person studies poetry, then that person will know how to be witty enough, how to put forth the ideas in very short and crisp way. Mathematics helps a person be accurate and exact, while natural philosophy makes their thinking deeper. Learning about ethics or moral values makes a person serious, and studying logic and rhetoric makes them understand things better. Now, another aphorism given by Bacon in his essay, Ebiunt studia in mors. So, this is a Latin phrase that can be translated as studies pass into character or studies become habits. It means if you passionately follow what you study, it ultimately becomes your habit. This phrase emphasizes the idea that the things a person studies or engages with in a scholarly or intellectual sense can influence and shape their character, behavior, and even their moral values over time. In a sense, it suggests that what we learn and focus on in our studies and intellectual pursuits can have a profound impact on who we become as an individual. Now, every mental challenge can be improved with the right kind of learning. Just like different activities are good for different parts of our body. For example, bowling is good for our bladder and kidneys. Shooting is good for our lungs and chest. Walking is good for our stomach, and riding a horse is good for our head. In the same way, if a man's mind tends to wander, studying mathematics can help because he has to focus to solve problems. If he struggles with making distinctions, he should study the works of scholars or philosophers. And if he is not quick at understanding things, then he must study law. Studying law can help that person. Bacon concludes that for every weakness of mind, there is a solution to be found in education and learning. So, in this essay, we found that Bacon told the merits of studies, how we study, what kind of books we study, and how in different ways we study different books, and how they are helpful, how different subjects are helpful for different needs for life, and how every mental challenge can be cured with right kind of learning. So that's all for today. Thank you.